See how everything's going here today. Welcome, my friends, to the show that never ends. Come inside, come inside, come inside. Well, I know how you are. I'm doing okay. Hold on. Yeah, put the puppy dog down for a nap. It's not much to talk about here at the top of the show. Honestly. So I'm probably just going to get right to recording. No. Tonight, The Light of the Jedi goes dark, a closer look at animated Star Trek, and goodbye and hello, Doctor Who. All that and more on the sci-fi edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 135, Multiverse Tonight. I'm your host, Thomas Townley. And as we come on the show today, well, there's not much really exciting to talk about. We took the puppy to the vet today. It came in about 3.5 pounds. Got him some, vaccinations. They trimmed his nails a little bit. He's in good health. He's, still an ankle biter. And we also have to watch out for his kneecaps. Apparently, he's got a little Lux patella. In fact, if you can hear him in the background there, he's not happy with me because I put him into his crate. So he's not bothering me while I'm doing the show. But you know, it is what it is. And the only other thing, other than the Canadian wildfire smoke that's invaded Kansas, so the air quality is very poor outside. They're making us wear masks again at work. You know, unfortunately, because we're in a county that is in the red with Delta variants, so they, you know, required us to put the masks back on. So I had to get those out again. Luckily, I have these wonderful things I got off Kickstarter. They're hat mask clips. Basically, clip the mask to my hat, so they're not, you know, pulling on my ears and stuff like that. So it's a great thing, you know. And I hope the guy, you know, gets those out into like Amazon or something. So, you know, or not. But anyway, let's go on to some Star Wars news.
Roger, roger.
Now, if you've ever won the won the Empire Strikes Back Symphonic Suite on lovely vinyl record, now's your chance. The record has been out of print since 1980, but Varsi Saraband Records will be reissuing the LP. The suite was composed by, of course, John Williams for concert performances. Now, in the press release about the release, Varney Saraband Records described it this way, quote, originally released to supplement, not compete with, the 2 LP motion picture soundtrack of Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. This 1 LP release skillfully combines a symphonic suite that John Williams created for concert performance with new arrangements of other cues from the film score. This fantastic long out-of-print album comes in the gatefold jacket with the original iconic Star Wars paintings by William Stout, images of John Williams, and notes from author Ray Bradbury, composer and critic Ray Palmer, and from the maestro himself. Out of print since originally pressing in 1980, a 100-gram black vinyl pressing. Then it goes on with a little bit more here. I was delighted when Charles Gerhardt asked me if he would record the suite from The Empire Strikes Back, since I'm a great fan of his recorded performances. Moreover, I was also pleased with his recordings of the original Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind scores, which he made in association with producer George Gorngold. I looked forward to this LP with special anticipations. The suite, which I had specially written and adapted for concert performance, had been skillfully augmented with other music from the film to form a unified whole. A great orchestra and Gerhardt's opulent sound and dramatic phrasing combined to make a fine addition to a rapidly growing list of great recordings of film music, said the composer John Williams. Well, that sounds very good. I'm a big fan of, you know, those scores, so I don't know that I'd pick it up in LP, though. I don't have a record player. I'm not going backwards. Go forwards. Now, and here's a thought for you. If you can't beat them, hire them. A deepfake artist who goes by the name of Shamuk on YouTube has been hired by ILM/Lucasfilm as a senior facial capture artist. Now, Shamuk came to the interest of Lucasfilm after he did the deepfakes of Sebastian Stan as a young Luke Skywalker, and also deepfakes of Tarkin and Leia in Rogue One, Harrison Ford in Solo: A Star Wars Story, and Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original Star Wars. Now, he posted on YouTube in a comment, quote, as some of you may already know, I joined ILM/Lucasfilm a few months ago and haven't had the time to work on any new YouTube content. Now I've settled into my job, uploads should start increasing again. They'll still be slow, but hopefully not months apart. Enjoy, unquote. At Comic-Con at Home 2021, and by the way, we'll have lots of news from Comic-Con at Home over these next 2 episodes. Star Wars The High Republic showed off the next wave of releases coming in January of 2022. The list of releases bore the header, quote, "The light of the Jedi goes dark," unquote. The third wave of books set around the Star Wars universe's High Republic period will see the Jedi and Republic overwhelmed by the Nihil, as well as the carnivorous plant monsters, the Drengar. Coming in 2022 will be the adult novel, The Fallen Star by Claudia Gray, the middle school level book, Mission to Disaster by Justina Ireland, the young adult novel, Midnight Horizon by Daniel Jose Older, and the Marvel comic Eye of the Storm by Charles Soule. And that brings us to the end of the Star Wars news. Let's go on to some Star Trek news. And we start the Star Trek news today with the Star Trek panel at Comic-Con at home, which focused on the new animated Star Treks, and there was a trailer for Star Trek Prodigy and Star Trek Lower Decks Season 2. On Prodigy, we learned that even though it's geared toward kids, it's intended for everyone. Executive producer Dan Hageman said, quote, "You just tell a good story from a place of heart, people who you can relate to, so we never really view it from a place of it's for kids. It's really for everybody. I think when you go from the perspective of these are characters who don't know Starfleet, all of a sudden you're talking to kids. You're also talking to people who have been curious about Star Trek, but are afraid to jump into Star Trek. It's a great entry point," unquote. Now, its characters are, of course, a group of rebellious kids. The characters are Jenkem Pog, an inherently contradictory engineer played by Jason Mantzoukas, Roktok, who, even though she looks like a rock monster, is just a cute 8-year-old, played by Really Alazarzadeh. Zero is a Medusan who wears a containment suit in order to keep others from going insane from the sight of her, played by Angus Emery, and Murph, played by D. Bradley Baker, who is, quote, "Murph is sort of, it's this blob. It's this sentient blob that kind of like Rooktuk's familiar, or a lieutenant or sidekick or something. So it understands what's going on, but you don't always understand what Murph is saying, and that I think is going to evolve as the series evolves," according to D. Bradley Baker. Now, of course, Captain Janeway, the emergency command hologram, was played by Kate Mulgrew. Now, we also got a look at the upcoming Lower Deck Season 2. We got word that the mother-daughter relationship between Mariner and Captain Freeman will get some definition. Actress Tawny Newsome said, quote, "So Mariner and Captain Freeman do end up working together, and in Season 2, you're going to see more of them attempting to work together. It's strange because Mariner, I love her, she defines herself through rebellion. So when that rebellion is taken away, it's like, how do you function?" Unquote. Now, we can expect some more silliness with our creators, with our creator and executive producer Mike McMahon, who said, quote, "We left a lot of bills to pay with characters and with what was going on in the world. You know, we just keep at it. We were saying this earlier, but there's a really great mix of serious Trek and silly Trek. Because if you're on a Starfleet ship, you don't know if you're going to encounter the Jem'Hadar or a guy who traps you in a game. You know what I mean? You'll see some familiar faces. You'll also see a lot of new stuff. The Cerritos goes through some real rigmarole. I'm just excited for August." He also revealed that the Packlids will be back this season, saying, quote, "I've gotten this cleared, the Packlids. We kind of treated a little bit like how the Klingons were in the original series, or maybe the Romulans were in the Next Generation, you know. Kind of a big bad force that's been growing, that's out there that has to be dealt with. But remember, the Cerritos aren't necessarily in charge of big missions, so every once in a while, because they did encounter the Packlids first, they do get involved in some stuff. But you'll see the Titan kind of having to deal with more Packlid stuff," unquote. Now, Lower Decks comes back on August 12th, and Prodigy still has no firm premiere date, but it's still due later this year. From shows with a future to shows that might have a future, the producers of the Section 31 spin-off are still optimistic about the show that is supposed to feature Emperor Georgiou rebuilding the dark, little-known organization. Alex Kurtzman, speaking with TrekMovie.com, said, quote, "We actually have a couple of Section 31 scripts. COVID, frankly, just changed the game for everybody, and every show we were on a very specific schedule. That then got thrown completely into whack because of COVID. Even Discovery Season 4 started many months later than originally planned. Picard 2, everything got pushed. So we're actually on a great track with Section 31, and I'm very optimistic about it." Now, unquote. Now, Kurtzman also talked about how the third season of Discovery was built to set up the show, saying, quote, "Obviously, it's no secret that we've been working on Michelle's spin-off show for Section 31. So the big question was how to do it in an organic way. How to do it in a way that paid off the relationship arc that was set from the beginning. It's no accident that in the Discovery pilot, Michelle and Georgiou are walking through the desert. In their final episode, they're walking through the snow in a visual echo of what we did in the premiere. There's a whole relationship arc that they've had from the beginning of the series, and also Georgiou has really never confronted in an honest way the consequences of her choices as a Terran. And the closer that she gets to the crew of Discovery, with whom she's very bonded and does not want to say so, the more she is forced to reckon with those choices. So in knowing that we were going to bring Michelle into the Section 31 show, we need to give her an appropriate goodbye that tied up a lot of the story threads that we set up from the premiere of Season 1, unquote. Now, still nothing has been concrete or been announced, and even Michelle Yeoh is currently busy between the Avatar sequels and the Netflix miniseries The Witcher Blood Origin. Could this series be the series that gets away? Who knows? Star Trek's first season almost brought back another Voyager crew member. Tom Paris almost came aboard. Now, in an interview with Trek.fm's Primitive Culture podcast, Robert Duncan McNeil said that he was invited to do an episode of Season 1, but scheduling just didn't work out. He did say that there was a chance he might show up in Season 2, saying, quote, "I did talk to Terry Matsalis about Picard Season 2. He and I had a few conversations recently and reconnected, which has been great. Terry had talked about bringing me over there as a director or as an actor, bringing Tom Paris, but it's really been about schedule," unquote. Well, we will see him on this upcoming season of Lower Decks. So, maybe he'll pop in on Picard too. Well, sorry folks, you're not going to get rid of Alex Kurtzman anytime soon. Alex in CBS Studios has extended their deal, keeping him at the studio through 2026. His production staff at Secret Hideout will expand its staff. Now, in a statement, CBS CEO George Cheeks said, quote, "Extending our valuable partnership with the brilliant Alex Kurtzman and Secret Hideout has been a top priority for CBS and Paramount Plus. Alex's vision and leadership of the Star Trek franchise and his ability to create artistic and commercial series across all platforms put him in a special class of creative talent. His substantial accomplishments at CBS and the spirit of collaboration we enjoy with his team are greatly valued, and we are excited to build on his already impressive slate far into the future," unquote. Yep, so, yeah, we're not getting rid of him, so sit back, enjoy. If you don't like what he puts out, don't watch it. If you like what he puts out, watch it. Those are your two choices, folks. Now let's go on to the geek news. A new trilogy of The Exorcist movies are being put into development by Universal Pictures and Peacock. Ellen Burstyn from the original Exorcist will be returning, and she'll be joined by Hamilton's Leslie Odom Jr. Now, the info that came out states that it will not be a remake, but a new tale about Odom's character, a father whose daughter becomes possessed, who turns to Ellen Burstyn's Chris McNeil for help. Now, 2018's Halloween director, David Gordon Green, has signed on to direct with Morgan Creek Entertainment and Blumhouse Productions running the show. which will cost upwards of $400 million. And I would just like $1 million of it. Doctor Who Season 13 dropped a trailer at Comic-Con at home. See, told you there's going to be a lot of Comic-Con news. According to showrunner Chris Chibnall, Season 13 will pick up with the Doctor and Yaz having been traveling together for a while, and will be rejoining them mid-adventure as they stumble on companion Dan Lewis, played by John Bishop. Chibnall also said that the new series will be less episodic than the last few seasons, saying, quote, "It's all one story, so every episode is a chapter in a bigger story. We've changed the shape of the series for this year," unquote. Now, it sounds like they're returning to kind of the old serialized storytelling that was a big part of the old Doctor Who way back when I was just a lad. Well, good on them. And just days after that panel, news broke that the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, and showrunner Chris Chibnall will be leaving after the 3rd season in her role. Now, she'll be a part of the 6-part serial and 3 specials before she hands the role over to the next Doctor. In a statement, Whittaker said, quote, "In 2017, I opened my glorious gift box of size 13 shoes. I could not have guessed the brilliant ventures, worlds, and wonders I was to see in them. My heart is so full of love for the show, for the team who make it, for the fans who watch it, and for what it has brought to my life. And I cannot thank Chris enough for entrusting me with his incredible stories. We knew that we wanted to ride this wave side by side and pass on the baton together. So here we are, weeks away from wrapping on the best job I have ever had. I don't think I'll ever be able to express what this role has given me. I will carry the Doctor and the lessons I've learned forever," unquote. Now, no word has leaked out on who might be up for the role. If you have any ideas, please email us. We're at Multiverse Tonight at multiversetonight.com, or talk to us on Twitter or Facebook. Now, he also spoke about, Chris Chibnall also spoke about some upcoming guests on the show. Now, those will include Game of Thrones actor Jacob Anderson, who will play a new character named Vinder, who will have his own ship. Now, they have no word on when the show will return, except later this year. Yep. Zack Snyder's The Stone Quarry Productions has signed a first-look film deal with Netflix. The 2-year agreement means that Netflix has the first chance at any new movies that the company comes up with. If Netflix passes on a project, he's free to shop it around to other outlets. Now, in a statement, Netflix film Haya Scott Stuber and said, quote, "I've known Zack and Deb for years and was fortunate to be a part of Dawn of the Dead, his first film. I have since had the privilege of watching his career grow and see the evolving impact of his work. To see him return to his roots with Army of the Dead, which is now one of our most popular films, and build a world out of these characters with the upcoming Army of Thieves and anime series is amazing to see. We've only scratched the surface of what's still to come and create with Zack, Deb, Wes, and everyone at Stone Quarry," unquote. Amazon's The Wheel of Time series will debut on Amazon Prime this November. A new trailer has dropped at Comic-Con at home. The show, according to Amazon's, quote, follows Moraine, played by Rosamund Pike, a member of the incredible, powerful, all-female organization called the Aes Sedai, as she arrives in the small town of Two Rivers. There she embarks on a dangerous world-spanning journey with 5 young men and women, one of whom is prophesied to be the Dragon Reborn, who will either save or destroy humanity, unquote. Now, showrunner Rafe Judkins tried to soothe any fans of the book worried that they would take liberties with the story, saying, quote, "I want to stay as close to the books as we possibly can. There will be a lot of things different, but stays true to heart of the books and the spine of the storytelling," unquote. Now, Judkins also said that he had mapped out 8 potential seasons based on all 14 books in the series. So if you want all those seasons, you better watch that show. Get your friends to watch it. Paramount has tapped actor Reggie Jean Page to star and executive produce their reboot of the classic series The Saint. The original series from the 1960s starred Roger Moore, and there was a 1997 movie based on the show with Val Kilmer. The Saint is based on the early 20th century novels by Leslie Charteris about a mysterious man named Simon Templar. No logline for the series has been released. Waterworld. The 90s Kevin Costner flop, might be getting a TV series if reports are to be believed. According to a report on Collider.com, producers John Davis and John Fox are on board with Dan Trachtenberg. Tapped to direct, Davis in a statement said, quote, "We're going to do the streaming version of that movie, the continuation of that movie," unquote. Well, that would indicate that we would follow the world, say 20 years after the end of the movie. Snowpiercer has just been handed an order for a 4th season. The TNT series, based on the movie, just finished filming its 3rd season. Taika Waititi's animated Flash Gordon reboot has turned real. According to producers John Davis and John Fox, Taika was tapped to make the animated Flash Gordon movie 2 years ago. John Davis told Collider, quote, "Taika is writing it. It was a movie that has a huge influence on him growing up. It was one of his favorite movies. He initially said to me, 'Let's do it animated.' I said, 'Okay.' Then we got into it and started developing it, and he said, 'No, let's do it live action.' I said, 'Even better,'" unquote. Now, Flash Gordon began life as a comic strip in the 1930s by Alex Raymond. It was made into a movie serial, and in 1980 was made into a movie starring Sam Jones as Flash Gordon, going against Max von Sydow's Ming the Merciless. Now, some sad news to close us out here. ZZ Top's Dusty Hill has passed away. The bass player for the band for more than 50 years. He also sang lead on songs like Tush, as well as backing vocals and played keyboards. He appeared in Back to the Future Part 3, Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme, an episode of WWE Raw, Deadwood, and King of the Hill. Hill was inducted with ZZ Top into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004. He died in his native Texas on July 27th. He was 72 years old. And that brings us to the end of the Sci-Fi Week. Now, be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Twitter at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute financially to the show, please head on over to multiversetonight.com to check out the show notes, visit our TeePublic store, and so much more. And if you would like to be, if you're a subscriber, thank you very much. Be sure to share us with friends, family, heck, people that you hate. If you're brand new to the show, thank you. Be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button and leave some feedback. Let me know how we're doing. You know, I can't make the show any better if I don't know I'm doing anything wrong. Special thanks to Shane Ivers for the intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching the Sci-Fi edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 days with a brand new comic book edition and 2 weeks with a brand new Sci-Fi edition. Now please exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half Baked Genre Productions, copyright 2021, all rights reserved. Alrighty then. I need to add that somewhere. Oh, wait. That's one episode down, one to go. I'll mute my fan. For someone actually does call it. We went through a heat wave last week. Temperatures over 100. My electricity bill jumped like $100 for the month of July. Yeah. So that was that was a thing. Well, I suppose we better get to the second episode here so I can go get myself some lunch. So let's take that out. All right. Tonight. Hold on. Tonight, Batgirl has been found, ScarJo sues the mouse, the Eisner Award winners, and we remember Jackie Mason. Oi! All that and more on the comic book edition of Multiverse Tonight! Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello and welcome to episode 136 of Multiverse Tonight, the comic book edition. Of course, your host, Thomas Townley. And starting off here, I'm in kind of Comic-Con mode. We're getting closer and closer to Planet Comic-Con 2021, the return, if you will. It's August 20th and 22nd in Kansas City. I'll be there walking the floor, looking for interesting things, seeing the celebrities. They've got kind of a wide field of people this time. They've got a lot of people from Supernatural. They've got Barry Williams from the Brady Bunch and Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley. They've also got, Brent Spiner, Gates McFadden, Kevin Dillon from Entourage, Jodie Benson from The Little Mermaid, Christian Cage, and Dr. Britt Baker from AEW. They've got a wide swath of guests, as well as, comic artists. Dayton Ward, my perennial guest will be there, of course. So I'm looking forward to that. This is kind of my vacation. I save up my change every year for this, and since we didn't have one last year, I've got plenty of change. So, I'm thinking of getting a photo of myself with Christian Cage and Dr. Britt Baker take it with them on Friday and have them sign it on like Saturday. But of course, because of pandemic restrictions, we'll have to do the con with masks on, taking our vitamins, you know, and I might not. We might not spend all day at the convention. We might, just limit ourselves to, brief, a couple of brief forays into the con. I hate to do it, but people, you have to go either mask up or get the vaccine or both. Okay, we need to get this variant tamped down enough. I mean, we're at 50% have at least one dose in the United States. That's good start, but it's not enough. So just, do me a favor, get the vaccine or wear masks for, especially if you're in one of the counties that's in like orange or red on the CDC map, so we can get this tamped down to where we don't have to wear the masks. But it is what it is. So and instead of me just talking to you about, let's go on with some comic book news. Let's start with DC Comics. How about that? In the Heights actress Leslie Grace has been cast in the role of Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, for the live-action Batgirl movie that's being made exclusively for HBO Max. The movie will be directed by Bad Boys for Life directors Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah from a Christina Hodson script. Man of Steel's screenwriter David Goyer revealed to the Hollywood Reporter how clueless the studio suits can absolutely be, saying, quote, "One note I got was on Man of Steel, where the ending involves Superman utilizing the pod that he arrived in as a child in order to bring down General Zod's ship. The note we got from the studio said, you have to change that. We asked why. They said, because if Superman uses the pod and it's destroyed while saving the city, how is he ever going to get back home to Krypton? There was this long pause, and we said, Krypton blew up. You saw 30 minutes of it." Unquote. Now, doesn't that just make you want to smack your head into the wall over and over again? Doesn't it? DC's animated Injustice movie, based on the video game and comic book series Injustice: Gods Among Us, has a cast. The story for Injustice takes place on an alternate version of the DCU, in which the Joker has tricked Superman into killing Lois Lane, sending the hero on a rampage. This unhinged Superman decides to take control of Earth for its own good, leading Batman and his allies in an attempt to stop him. The upcoming Injustice animated film includes voiceovers: Justin Hartley as Superman, Anson Mount as Batman, Laura Bailey as Lois Lane and Rama Kushna, Zach Callison as Damian and Jimmy Olsen, Brian T. Delaney as Green Lantern, Brandon Michael Hall as Cyborg, Edwin Hodge as Mr. Terrific and Killer Croc, Alfred Hudson as Plastic Man, Gillian Jacobs as Harley Quinn, Yuri Lowenthal as Mirror Master, Flash, and Shazam, Derek Phillips as Nightwing and Aquaman, Kevin Pollak as Joker and Jonathan Kent, Annika Noni Rose as Catwoman, Reed Scott as Green Arrow and Victor Zazaz, Farron Tahir as Ra's al Ghul, Fred Tatasciaro as Captain Atom, Janet Varney as Wonder Woman, and Andrew Morgado as Mirror Master Soldier. Injustice will be out on Blu-ray and streaming this fall. Just call Dwayne Johnson's portrayal of Black Adam the Dirty Harry of superheroes, according to the movie's director. In an interview with Variety, director Yame Koletsera talked about The Rock's acting performance, saying, quote, "Having just done a romantic adventure comedy where he's very light, I was really attracted to getting the dark version of Dwayne, basically turning him into Clint Eastwood in a Western. I was like, you're like the Dirty Harry of superheroes. I don't have to convince people that I was right for this one in the same way that I did for Jungle Cruise. It's like things I've done with Liam Neeson, that tough guy anti-hero who has a heart. The world is not black and white. The world is in gray areas. So you need these people that are writing that gray area," unquote. Now, Black Adam also stars Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, Aldous Hodge as Hawkman, Noah Centineo as Adam Smasher, Quintessa Swindle as Cyclone, and Marwan Kenzari and Sarah Sahi in undisclosed roles. Black Adam is due out in theaters on July 29th, 2022. DC's Legends of Tomorrow is putting out their own mixtape of musical moments from the series. DC Legends of Tomorrow, the mixtape, songs from the original television soundtrack, is set to be released on August 20th, 2021, and will feature 21 tracks, offering up some of the show's memorable musical moments, like the David Bowie-inspired Space Girl from the current Season 6, Brendan Routh's Mr. Parker's Cul-de-sac from Season 5, and cast performances of Puppets of Tomorrow, I Surrender, and Sweet Baby James. The mixtape will be available wherever you get your digital music. The show has been renewed for a 7th season. Winston Duke will voice Bruce Wayne for Spotify's Batman Unburied podcast, written by David S. Goyer. He will be joined by Jason Isaacs, who will play Alfred. Now, the logline for this is, quote, "When audiences meet Bruce Wayne, he is a forensic pathologist working in the bowels of Gotham Hospital and tasked with examining the victims of the Harvester, a gruesome serial killer preying on Gotham citizens. Not only will the superhero be forced to face his own mental demons, but he will also have to overcome them in order to save the citizens of Gotham as his alter ego, Batman." Unquote. There is no release date yet. A crew member on the set of the Flash movie was injured in an accident. The film was in Scotland at the time. A statement from Warner Brothers to Variety said, quote, "An accident occurred while filming The Flash where thankfully nobody was seriously hurt. The crew member involved received immediate medical attention as a matter of protocol." Unquote. Now, they went on to say that we take the well-being of all our employees seriously and have strict health and safety procedures in place on all productions. Unquote. According to Glasgow Live, the injured crew member was a camera operator who collided with the Batcycle. The film, The Flash, will be in theaters on November 4th, 2022. And that brings us to the Marvel news. Production on the sequel to Black Panther Wakanda Forever, is in Atlanta. Now, Michael Cole has joined the cast, and no more details has been given about his character. Cole's credits include Black Mirror and Star Wars The Last Jedi. Wakanda Forever is set for release on July 8th, 2022. Hawkeye will be coming to Disney Plus this November. The series starring Jerry Renner as Hawkeye and Haley Stanfield as his protege Kate Bishop will arrive on the streaming service on November 24th. So, you're at a movie theater and you have a major release in 6 months, but the studio hasn't released a promo poster. What do? Make your own up. Several movie theaters have done so for Spider-Man No Way Home, which is set for release on December 17th. Let's see, that's August, September, October, November, December. Yep, that's 5 months, so 6 months when the story was made. And so a Twitter user shared a look at 2 posters for the Cineplace and Weston movie theaters that had fan-made posters. Now, Walt Disney Studios marketing president Asad Aziz recently told the Hollywood Reporter, quote, "Sony is absolutely handling the marketing for Spider-Man. Kevin Feige and his team are closely partnering with the Sony team on these, so there is coordination in that sense." Unquote. Now, Walt Disney Studios marketing president Aziz recently also went on to say, "We also made sure that we are aware of who is dropping what when. But we are not working together on the campaigns because it's their film. They are handling it. But there's a level of coordination to make sure that it's a win-win for everybody." Unquote. So in other words, Disney is basically saying, this is all Sony's fault. Go talk to Sony about it. Oh, come on, Disney. You want the money too, so why aren't you, jumping on them to get that poster out. I guess we'll just have to ask Sony Pictures. Marvel's Blade movie has found its director, Bassam Tariq, known as for the rap drama Mogul Mowgli, it's in just early negotiations. Two-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali is slated to play the half-human, half-vampire Blade, and the movie will be written by Watchmen's Stacey Ossie Kufur. Black Widow will be coming to streaming services other than Disney Plus on August 10th and Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K Ultra HD on September 14th. There are several bonus features that have been announced, including bloopers, deleted scenes, grocery shopping, which shows Natasha heading to a grocery store to prepare for her journey through Norway. After a long drive, she arrives at her destination, a mysterious trailer in the middle of nowhere. I guess that's one. These are. I'm going to restart this. Hold on. Black Widow will be coming to streaming services other than Disney Plus on August 10th and Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K Ultra HD on September 14th. Now, there have been several bonus features that have been announced, including, quote, bloopers, deleted scenes with titles like Grocery Shopping, Bike Chase, Gulag Fight, Smile, Come After Me, Walk and Talk, Windows in Training, Kiss, Ohio, and much more. There's also a filmmaker introduction featurette from director Keith Shortland, who introduces the film and her vision of it. The Sisters Gonna Work It Out featurette, while you can watch Scarlett and Florence as they train, fight, and bond. And Go Big, or if you're going home featurette, which the thing says, step back to appreciate the size and scale of Black Widow's solo film. Shot around the world, the film balances family and drama with mind-blowing action. The cast and crew reveal the intricacies of stunts that made the movie so action-packed. Well, it's apparently also action-packed outside of the movie. The movie has landed Scarlett Johansson and Disney on opposite sides in the court of law, as Scarlett Johansson is suing the House of Mouse, alleging that her contract was breached when Black Widow was released on Disney+. Johansson's complaint says that Disney sacrificed the movie's box office potential in order to grow the streaming service. Now, Disney has shot back in a statement by saying, quote, "There's no merit whatsoever to this filing. The lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Disney has fully complied with Ms. Johansson's contract, and furthermore, the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus with Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she has received to date." Unquote. Now, Black Widow had its release delayed for more than a year due to the COVID crisis last month. Now, Disney also released it on Disney Plus for an additional $30 charge. The lawsuit, filed in Los Angeles Superior Court, states that Black Widow had been guaranteed a wide theatrical release when Johansson signed her deal with Marvel. Now, according to the complaint, Disney tortuously interfered with that deal for its own advantage. The complaint said, quote, "Why would Disney forego hundreds of millions of dollars in box office receipts by releasing the picture in theaters at a time when it knew the theater market was weak, rather than waiting a few months for the market to recover? On information and belief, the decision to do so was made at least in part because Disney saw the opportunity to promote its flagship subscription service using the picture and Miss Johansson, thereby attracting new paying monthly subscribers, retaining existing ones, and establishing Disney Plus as a must-have service in an increasingly competitive marketplace." Unquote. Now, the complaint also states that Disney made no attempt to amend the deal before they decide on this two-pronged release strategy, ignoring her and forcing her to file the lawsuit. Since the lawsuit was filed, the two parties have been firing back and forth on each other in the press. Now, we will keep an eye on this case, and if anything comes of it, we'll let you know. So let's go ahead and take a look at how well the movie was doing at the box office this past week. Jungle Cruise cruised to the number 1 slot in its first week with 34.2 million. The Green Knight opened at number 2 with 6.8 million. Now in third, also with 6.8 million, is the movie Old. Black Widow came in fourth with week number in its fourth week with 6.4 million, making a total of 167.1 million. Yeah, that's fairly weak for a Marvel movie. Stillwater, Space Jam: A New Legacy, Snake Eyes: G.I. Joe Origins, F9, and The Boss Baby: The Family Business rounded out the top 10. So yeah, on one hand, I can see ScarJo's complaint. You know, realistically, they should have come to her, contractually and said, we're going to do this, and we're going to include you in on, X amount. So, I can see their complaint. I can see, Disney's part of this too. So, who knows? I guess we'll just have to, let this one get settled in court. Let's go on to the Geek News. Amazon Prime has ordered Neil Gaiman's American Gods spin-off, loosely based spin-off, Anazi Boys. Neil will write the first and last episodes of the series with Hanel Culpepper as the lead director. Anazi Boys follows Charlie Nancy, a man who has lived a mostly mundane life, only occasionally embarrassed by his estranged father. His father's death changes all that, revealing that Charlie is the son of Nazi, the trickster god of stories. At about that time, Charlie also learns that he has a brother named Spider. This news makes Charlie's life much less mundane than it once was. The series will go into production in Scotland later this year. Count out the rock of any future Fast and Furious movies. The actor, who has famously had a feud with fellow follically challenged man Vin Diesel, when asked about Diesel's comments about the feud during an interview with the Hollywood Reporter about his new Disney movie Jungle Cruise, Dwayne remarked, quote, "I laughed and I laughed hard," about Diesel's tough love comments. "I think everyone had a laugh at that, and I'll leave it at that. And that I wish them all. I wish them well on Fast 9, and I wish them the best of luck on Fast 10 and Fast 11 and the rest of the Fast and Furious movies. They can do that will be without me," unquote. Now, maybe they should squash that beef with a match at WrestleMania. Come on. I want to see Vince Diesel versus The Rock at WrestleMania. Come on, Vince, make that one happen. Netflix's Chilling Adventures of Sabrina storyline will continue in the pages of RG Comics. Showrunner Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa will reunite with artist Robert Hack in the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina issue number 9 on October 13th. This comics, which inspired the Kieran Shipka-led drama, will continue the Witch War storyline with the sacrificial lamb. Sabrina has brought Harvey's body back to life along with her father's soul. However, there is a cost to everything, and unless she wants the gates of hell to open, Sabrina must find a person to sacrifice in Harvey's place. Greendale's infamous teen witch is faced with a troubling predicament. Could she truly kill somebody? In a statement, Roberto said, quote, "Bringing Sabrina and her family and friends to life on the screen for Netflix was a dark dream come true, and I couldn't be prouder of her 4 seasons, but it all started with a comic book series that was truly a labor of love for everyone who worked on it." Now, reuniting with Robert Hack and the entire RG Comics team and getting to pick up where we left off has been the best homecoming I could have ever asked for, unquote. Now, Roberto will also be teaming with artist Audrey Mock for a new series called The Occult World of Sabrina, which will act as a pseudo season 5 of the Netflix series, starting with a story arc called A World Without Sabrina. The Mitchells vs. the Machines has been crowned Netflix's biggest animated film of all time. The movie, which Netflix acquired from Sony Animation, got 53 million views in its first 28 days, putting it up there with Kevin Hart's Fatherhood and Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, with 74 and 75 million views, respectively. Greg Nicotero, the special effects makeup artist behind The Walking Dead, revealed an update on McFarlane's Spawn reboot. The artist told comicbook.com's Brandon Davis, quote, "We have designs." McFarlane came in and he said, "Look, we're doing this thing and it's going to be low budget and it's kind of down and dirty, and I want it to feel more like the animated show, Todd McFarlane's Spawn, where it's like Spawn meets David Fincher." He wanted to do this kind of gritty, down and dirty thing. And so we did a lot of concept work here. We did a bunch of design busts and a lot of really, really cool stuff. And then it kind of stalled, unquote. Now, the Jason Blum produced reboot has Jeremy Renner and Jamie Foxx attached to star in it, and it still remains in active development. Now, upcoming season premiere dates for this fall. On Sunday, September 26th, we'll see The Simpsons Season 33, The Great North Season 2, Bob's Burgers Season 12, and Family Guy Season 19. The Walking Dead World Beyond will return for the second and probable final season on October 3rd. The Simpsons' 33rd season will kick off with a special musical premiere. The news was revealed at Comic-Con at Home. Take a drink. The episode, called The Star of the Backstage, will be the most musical episode they've ever done, and was described by executive producer Matt Selzman as, quote, "the most musical episode we've ever done, like a Broadway musical of an episode with wall-to-wall music," unquote. Now, the episode will have original songs from Kristen Bell guest singing for Julie Kavner's Marge. E.P. Algene announced that Treehouse of Horror 32 will be an extended episode with 5 segments versus the usual 3, and we also see romance coming into Moe's life, and another exploring the greatest tragedy Homer has ever faced. The Simpsons has been renewed for season 34. The Bob's Burgers movie is still in the works. The series creator Lauren Bouchard promising that, quote, "We're going to be in theaters. That's my pledge. I guarantee it will be the best movie we could possibly make." And she also described the project as a musical comedy mystery adventure and kind of a coming-of-age story, unquote. Now, season 12 will also have a 2-part season finale, which takes place in Tina's erotic friend fiction, and will break some of the show's core rules by featuring a segment driven more by animation and music than by dialogue. There is a Pokemon live-action series in the works at Netflix. Variety has learned that the project is still a work in progress with very little details. However, Joe Henderson is attached to write and executive produce, and would be similar to the Detective Pikachu movie. Kurt Busiek's back catalog, including Astro City, is headed over to Image Comics. In the press release, Busiek said, quote, "I'm thrilled to be consolidating my creator-owned books at Image. Readers have been asking us to make these stories available again, so we're glad to have them all together at last, and in great company with the rest of the Image line. This is just the beginning, too. There'll be new material coming as well, but that'll be another announcement for another day," unquote. The 2021 Eisner Award winners have been announced. I'll read a few of them, and I'll have the complete list in the show notes. The Best Continuing Series Award went to Usagi Yojimbo by San Sakai. The Best Single Issue went to Sports' Hell by Ben Passmore. Best Limited Series went to Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen by Matt Fraction and Stephen Leiber. Best New Series went to Black Widow by Kelly Thompson and Elena Casagrande. Best Writer went to James Tynion IV for Something Is Killing the Children. Batman, and for Something Is Killing the Children. Batman, The Department of Truth, and Razor Blades. Best Writer went to Junji Ito for Remna, Venus in the Blind Spot. And Best coloring went to Laura Allred for X-Ray Robot, Bowie Stardust, and Bowie Stardust. And there's a ton more awards. Short stories, best publication for young readers, best publication for kids, which went to Superman Smashes the Klan and Twins. Best humor publication went to Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. Best anthology went to Menopause, a Comic Treatment. Best graphic album new went to Pulp by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Best adaptation from another medium went to Superman Smashes the Klan. And there's tons more awards. Again, find them all on our website. That's multiversetonight.com. And we close off with a few passings. Courage, the cowardly dog voice talent, Thea White, has passed away. The actress voiced Courage's owner, Muriel, on the show, voicing her from 1992 to 2002, and getting one last shot at the role for the straight out of nowhere Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog animated movie. Now, she passed away on August 1st, just a few days after surgery. She was 81 years old. And actor and comedian Jackie Mason has passed away. The Borscht Belt comedian, best known for roles on The Simpsons and the movie Caddyshack 2, was born Yakov Moshe Cohen Massa in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, but grew up on Manhattan's Lower East Side. He was originally ordained as a rabbi, like his brothers, but resigned to become a comedian in the 1950s. Now, his humor was comparable to that of Don Rickles. His 1986 one-man show, The World According to Me, won a special Tony Award, as well as an Ace and Emmy Award, and also garnered a Grammy nomination. He also showed up in movies like The Jerk, The History of the World Part 1, 10 episodes of The Simpsons, and various other shows and movies. He passed away after a brief hospital stay on July 24th. Jackie Mason is survived by his wife Jill and their daughter Sheba. He was 93 years old. And that brings us to the end of the comic book news. Now, be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Twitter at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute financially to the show, check out the show notes, visit our TeePublic store, and so much more. Head on over to multiversetonight.com. And if you're a subscriber, thank you very much. And be sure to share us with friends, family, loved ones, people you hate, random people on the street, whatever. And if you're brand new to the show, thank you for listening to us today. Be sure to hit the subscribe or follow button depending on your podcast program of choice. Leave us some feedback and let me know how we're doing as well. Again, that's Multiverse Tonight at multiversetonight.com. Special thanks to Shane Ivers for the intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Now, thanks for watching the comic book edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a sci-fi and comic book edition. Now, please exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half-Baked Genre Productions, copyright 2021. All rights reserved. Well, that's the end of the show, folks. Thank you, anyone who watched this or is coming upon it later. Again, just head on over to multiversetonight.com, or if you'd like to donate, you can go, multiversetonight.com, coffee.com, multiversetonight, all these places. All these things are good. Yeah. And again, in a little over a couple of weeks, I'll be over at Planet Comic-Con, Kansas City. Enjoying a nice hotel room. when I go to Comic Con, I spend money. I'm going to a hotel that is just a few blocks away from the venue. That's an extended stay type place, so it has a fridge.